everybody. They would automatically use these steps. In essence, what these steps are doing is they're cleaning the cannon, loading the cannon, and then firing it. So every time they fire, they've cleaned it in between shots.
Just so you know, you're pointing at a telephone pole.
Yay! There's nothing in any of these firearms except a black powder charge. I make all the charges the night before, just like the real pirates would have.
So that nothing is going to hit that telephone pole?
No.
That's good.
There's a lot of hot air, kind of like me.
That's just from him.
All right, so I'm going to give them the command, and then I'm going to turn and tell you good folks why we did it. Unapron the vent. The apron is a leather piece that sits over the back end of the vent, keeps that vent dry, and keeps dirt and debris from getting inside.
Vent unaproned.
There we go. Clean the vent. Nope, brush. Now he's going to use a brush. It looks like a pipe cleaner, but it's actually got brass wire on it. It's going to run that down the vent just to make sure there's no dirt and debris in there.
Vent clean.
Stop the vent. A thumb stall, which looks like the thumb of a mitten cut off. It's made out of 3 or 4 layers of leather, and he's going to hold that over the vent. If we were at battle, there could be embers in that bore, and when my first mate rams the charge, he could suck air through that vent and make the embers flame up. So that keeps air from getting in. No.
Vent stop.
Worm the bore. The worm is a conical piece of metal at the end of a shaft, runs that down the length of the bore, gives it a twist, and pulls out a little piece of cartridge. Whenever we fire the cannons, there is a little bit of debris left inside from the cartridge, so we have to get that out.
More wormed.
Wet sponge. Now he's going to use what looks to be a big Q-tip. It's actually called a swab by chance. One end's wet, the other end's dry. He's going to take the wet end, run that down the bore.
Sponged.
Dry sponge. We all went through how black powder doesn't like water, so he'll turn that swab around and he'll dry out the inside of the bore.
Dry.
Receive the cartridge and load the piece. A powder monkey, which is a small child that thought they had it too rough at home in the fields, they would go down to the ocean side or the wharf and get in with the pirate crew. The powder monkeys were the ones that would run the charge bags from the hold of the ship underneath out to the cannoneers. So sharpshooters would be actually aiming at the children, because that way you wouldn't be feeding the cannons. You'd stop that flow of
Charge
powder.
ram.
Check that it be home. If we were actually firing a cannonball, but we're not, a little bit of space behind that cartridge could cause that cannon to explode. So what I told him to do is to check that it's home. Make sure that cartridge is seated firmly against the back of the cannon.
Charge home.
Pick the cartridge. A brass wire is run down that vent, kind of wiggled around. It opens the cotton bag of powder and exposes the powder for firing.
Cartridge picked.
Receive your primer and prime your piece. Primers were generally made the night before out of a bird's quill. They take the end of the quill off, splice it open, and fill it with a very fine-grained gunpowder. They would then set that into the vent, and that's what they would light. When we do it this way, the cannon goes off instantaneously, right away. Because I love my crew and I don't want anyone getting hurt, we actually use green fireworks fuse. So when we light the cannon, it's going to sizzle and pop a little bit before it goes off. Oh, look, she's already doing it. Open your mouth too. There you go. When we do the cannon, everyone's going to count with us. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, fire in the hole. Little people, lock your ears and open your mouth. It equalizes the pressure in your head, and you look like a bunch of fish, and it makes us happy. So, right, we gotta have fun here. So we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, fire in the hole. 1, 2, 3, fire in the hole!
It's his first day.
Better check the...
No, it's going.
Ah,
Yeah.
run!
Should I close my mouth now?
No, I like to watch your mouth be open. You look like a fish with green hair.
What a lady.
Excellent!
My morale officer will be walking around with an outturned
No,
hat.
wait.